Exactly 3 weeks ago today, a 56-year-old man disappeared. In the time since, one of the largest missing person searches this country has ever seen has found no trace of Kerry farmer Mike Gaine. The question of his whereabouts hangs over the picturesque town of Kenmare and the area surrounding it.
You'd meet him around the square here, you know, and he was always very affable.
It was a shock, really, I suppose. It was very strange how it happened as well. Like, something doesn't seem quite right.
People fall and get hurt, but they're found. But vanished completely is just total shock, total disbelief.
But what do we know about what happened to Mike Gaine? In Kenmare Mart, a sheep auction on a Monday evening. Mike Gaine was a regular here, well known, well liked and respected among local farmers. On any other Monday, Mike would be here himself, but his absence is conspicuous. There is nevertheless a quietness here, a reluctance to speak about the fact that one of their own has disappeared. At the cement works opposite the mart, Declan O'Neill reflects on the unease that has settled over these parts.
Being up here in the mornings or whatever, you'll be just a bit more, in the evenings, you'll be just a bit more inclined to look over your shoulder more than anything, you know. If he could be just found and people get answers, his family most importantly, I wouldn't like to even bear to think what they're going through at the moment, and you'll be just hoping that he'll be found alive and well.
Mike Gaine grew up in the town of Kenmare, but for several decades now has lived with his wife on the road out towards Mall's Gap. Further along that road is the land that he farmed in the family for generations. The old family homestead is there, with several sheds and outbuildings. The family are no longer living there, but locals say that Mike has been allowing an American man to live in a derelict building on the farm for several years now. Above the farm at Mall's Gap is a quarry operated by local councillor Johnny Healy-Ray, who says that Mike Gaine and his family have been good neighbours.
He was a fine man and a fine operator in every way. I knew him with a long number of years. We're operating here near his farm with a long number of years, and a lot of the water for the town of Kenmare comes out of his land. We've worked that through the years. He was always very accommodating to ourselves. He was, as we know at this stage, he was a farmer and he was interested in rallying and different things.
Like most farmers, Mike was an early riser. On the morning of Thursday, 20th of March, he was spotted feeding his sheep on his land. At 7:15, he pulled into Kenmare Co-op Mart to see what stock might be in for the day, something he did regularly around this time.
This man was hard-working, he was ordinary, he farmed his land, he'd interest in sheep, he was out early in the morning. When we'd be coming up and down here, he was at the side of the road feeding his sheep.
20 minutes later, just after 7:30, Mike was in Dan McCarthy's in Kenmare town. He loaded up several bags of sheep feed and cattle feed before heading inside to pay and chat with the cashier. Mike was a familiar face in the shop. He was there almost every morning before it opened. He left McCarthy's just before 8 a.m. Travelling behind his friend Flora O'Brien, they met with another friend of theirs along the Sneem Road before going their separate ways at 8:15. It was a busy morning for a very sociable man.
Yeah, I suppose I knew Mike all my life. You know, we kind of grew up in the same area and around the town, and Mike, he was always around the place there. You know, he was a great man for the community, especially the farming community. He was always there to help out. Whether it was a load of bale of hay above him the matter until that, you know, he was always there, like, and it's sad now to see what's after happening.
At 9:48, Mike was here at White Centra. He bought credit for his phone and a roll from the deli. This is the last confirmed sighting of Mike Gaine. We know that after Mike Gaine paid for his few bits of shopping, he left the store, got into his car and drove away. All entirely normal. But what happened next is still shrouded in mystery. Mike's wife reported him missing the next day when he hadn't returned home. His car was found in the yard of his farm. In the car was his wallet, the phone for which he had just bought credit, and the roll from the deli. The gate to the farm was locked. Those who know Mike say they don't believe he simply walked away.
No, completely the opposite. Mike was a farmer. He'd tend to his animals a couple of times a day, no more than any other farmer. He had duties that he'd have to carry out every day. That would be completely out of character for Mike.
The coordinated multi-agency search has been underway since yesterday afternoon.
The turnout a clear indication of Mike Gaine's popularity within the community.
The huge search has uncovered no clues as to Mike Gaine's whereabouts. His entire property has been combed and his slurry tanks emptied. In a remote area of Mike's land, a long distance from the farmyard, teams uncovered a makeshift camp containing a bow and arrows, along with some food and clothing. Gardaí do not believe that the items are connected to Mike's disappearance.
When we first heard it, I suppose everyone just assumed maybe he was after having a little fall above the farm or something, or had some bit of an accident or something. And then you had the initial search party that everyone dropped everything and went up in the hope of finding him stuck in a drain or something after falling, hit his head off a rock or something. But as time went on, then I suppose that possibility didn't seem like it was going to happen. And, you know, it's getting more concerning now as every day goes by. And I suppose it's very, very distraught for the family, his wife and his two sisters.
Nobody can disappear into thin air, but this part of Kerry is a vast expanse of rugged wilderness, capable of hiding many secrets.
It's rugged and wild and beautiful. I was up there myself on the first Friday evening, and we got stuck ourselves several times going through it, but, you know, it has been well searched, and you had drones and they have all this high-definition camera footage and everything, mapping techniques, all this kind of stuff. And, you know, it's still no trace from it makes it very bizarre altogether.
As tourists enjoy the sunshine here in the pretty town of Kenmare, among the locals, there's an undercurrent of concern as the mystery of Mike Gaine's disappearance hangs over the area.
Of course, the weather has put a perk in many people's step, but yeah, it definitely has left a somber cloud on the area for sure.
I know Mike for years, yes, and Mike was a very likeable character and just can't believe what anybody, you know, what could have happened to him.
It's very sad and it's very tough on the family. I mean, what we hear from people locally obviously are very worried about him.
Yeah, it's just kind of a strange one. It's like, you know, where would he have gone kind of thing. It's a bit of a mystery in a way, because
really is, you know,
he's been missing for so long now.
But he was just such a nice man, and it is such a shock, not just to me, but to everybody. But I would say everybody is praying for him. That's all I can think of now, because we just don't have any leads that we've heard of.
In an information vacuum, the gaps are often filled with speculation, and Kenmare is awash with rumour.
We have no idea. You've heard all the stories. I have no idea. They could all be true, or none of them be true, most likely. We still haven't the right, truthful story, and we only hope at this stage that the Gardaí and that other state agencies will piece it together, and to bring Mike home safe and well would be the first priority.
Someone has to know something, and I would appeal to that person or those persons that do know anything or know what happened or know where Mike is, to please, if they have any conscience at all, that they come forward and tell someone so that the suffering could be brought to an end, you know.
Is that something that you believe, that there are people out there who know something?
Yes, that is a feeling locally that someone knows something, yeah.
The search operation is being run from Killarney Garda Station. An Garda Síochána told Primetime that it has made 230 specific inquiries regarding Mike Gaine's disappearance, taking almost 100 witness statements and recovering 1,500 hours of CCTV and dashcam footage. But after 3 weeks of searching, there are still far more questions than answers. The biggest question of all is, how could Mike Gaine, a man so well known and recognisable in his community, simply disappear?